About 22 years ago, my wife and I bought a house here in Charlevoix. It's Charlevoix the Beautiful, and it's not just a slogan, it actually lives up to the name. I grew up in Boston and spent my summers on Cape Cod at my parents' cottage, and first time I rolled into Charlevoix, I looked around Round Lake, I said, this reminds me of back home. This is where I want to be. A lot of people ask me why am I getting involved in the community. Other than probably being a little nuts, I also love it up here so much. I'm trying to find reasons to be up here work-wise. And I'm kind of at the point in my career that, return on investment is always important, but maybe you don't need as much of a return if you can do it in paradise. My work mode of Charlevoix started with Hotel Earl, used to be the Lodge. And my wheelhouse is renovating apartments and small apartment buildings. And I kept driving by this place going, someone should bring it back to life. And unfortunately, that was me. It all worked out, but as some of you know, it was a little bit of a process. Throwing COVID into the mix definitely challenged me. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There was a need that needed to be filled, was a hotel experience that offered a little bit more. And what we offer and bring to the table is high bar, low bar, where you have some amazing views from the rooftop, all three lakes, Michigan Round and Charlevoix from one seating. I like to say it takes a village, right? It's not just the Earl, it's the whole package with downtown Charlevoix. Regarding Blue Dot, my wife and I have always had a dream of starting a small vineyard someday. Our cottage is across the street, so we watch that property go back and forth, change hands. And finally we decided let's jump in with both feet and make it happen. What we like about it is that it's creating something that wasn't there before. I'm definitely not a farmer, but I guess on paper I am. And there's something to be said about planting something in the ground, watching it grow, and then you enjoy the fruits of your labor by having a couple later on. It's very rewarding, and it's actually tastes pretty good too. So regarding the Irene, that used to be the Bridge Life Church, and it was for sale for quite some time, and it definitely posed a challenge. In my research, I found an article that mentioned that 7,000 churches a year were closing down in the United States after COVID. And so the challenge was, what do you do with these buildings? Well, you always hear about workforce housing is needed. And when I met with the pastor, I feel like they were on board with keeping the building intact. I wasn't coming in as that developer who was going to tear it down and put up fancy, shiny condos. And so they worked with us on pricing and on timing to keep it as part of the community. And so right now we have established 16 rooms that are deemed workforce housing, and they are pretty much all full for the summer. And then the upstairs with the church, the sanctuary and the dining area, we are marketing that as the Irene, which is Earl Young's wife's name. I'd like to say it's a match made in heaven, but a bump. We're excited because it just kind of came about as we were going into the project. And so far we already have a handful of events booked. And what I like about it, what I'm excited is that we're not looking to compete with the Castles, some of the others. They all do great jobs here in town. But now you have an option that's downtown, that's smaller, and walkable to 3 hotels. I've never really been involved in public office or an administration like that before, and I was asked maybe 4 or 5 years ago when the Earl started to get involved in DDA, and it's been a great experience. What I like about DDA is I can be plugged into what's going on in the community and hopefully help shape it in a better way for everybody downtown. I've got to say I'm blown away and flattered and touched, and any other big word I can think of, to be Citizen of the Year for Charlevoix. Definitely wasn't on my radar, honestly wasn't. I'm just doing what I love to do in a place I love to do it, and to feel recognized and that others notice that is humbling.